Yo, this was a badass episode in which I watched last month. As you can see, I'm behind the tracks. I'm always behind the tracks. I'm always late. So, start out with a bang. Left out at the last time when they were clashing, you know, Tiger versus Shark. And it came out another day, another week after that, when they're at point where a guy is in a 7 gate and he is at the ground, or should I say at the water, where shark should be. And he's like, badass. The guy's really badass. 7 gate, especially. He's giving it his all, and I can see he's not that type of guy you would say. No, look at that guy. He's that type of guy with will, or should I say youth. Youth guy. This is the youth power. Like he's saying to Kisame, man, if you twitch, move, scratch, itch, I'm going to just pound you on that. You know what you're gonna get it. He twitches his finger, blow, and everything opens up. And then things out, and some, everything gonna open up. Open and finish. Yamato and the others was like embracing the radiation or impact that face of might punch giving it. And after all of that happened, we saw Kisame in this wood prison, unconscious. And after he was in this wood prison, you have this guy, like, I think he can slip through minds and, go in the past and in order to get some information and details which they want of that casket. So it's like there in their mind, and like going through his past, to get some details. You see this group of Miss Ninjas. I don't know at the time what they were doing, but it seemed like when I saw them, they were drinking tea. And then I looked, I said, with a shark. And I said, hey, that's Kisame. It seemed like it was always that sort of figure-like looking short guy when he was a kid. I wonder how he might have grown up. Because it seemed like the distance him to whatever mission they were at the time. Then this girl came up, I think she was a comrade, saying, why don't you come over and have a cup of tea? So they're going and do their little things, having their own time. I think it was more focused on the mission. And then they went out of the forest doing their own thing. At a certain time. They came up against the leaf shinobis. I think they were after the squirrel Kisame had. I suppose it was a leader. One of the squirrel. I think the guy that we actually seen that flashback was the guy who actually was, the first shonen teacher. He was there. Highly intelligent torture machine guy. Kisame, they're fighting, then he hopped to the tree. And the more he hopped, the more comrade he killed instead of they killed. And he reached a point when they were a tree. He was a tree comrade and he was like looking down, seeing where there was to go. They weren't anywhere else to go. Killed those two guys. They were looking, killed her. She asked him why and those stuff. He said, damn, man. A minute ago they were just there, sitting down and kill them like that. Man, what is this kind of man? I was saying to myself. They asked him why. I didn't think he actually gave me a full answer, but he jumped down. Then it came to the part when he was at the swordman. I think it was, his sensei or whatever it was. He was the guy who actually gave him that mission. And he was like, Kisame, how could you? Kisame, take his sword. I think it's someone the way we call it. Then thing was a three-tailed kid. He ain't just in a kid. He's a kid. He was there, and at the time, it was like, talking about where to go and, all this crap. And this guy came, don't know who he is, have a feeling that his hair is long, so he might have been Miller at the time. I'm having this feeling, if that was Miller, how long have Kisame probably lived for enough crap? Because Miller wouldn't have been in times like those. So I probably think it was some, reinformation or some, some sick twisted image of whosoever that might be in the darkness. I think it was the same guy who's trying to, mastermind every kind of shit ass mind there is to mastermind in order to, be somebody, which is that Toby, guy. And Kisame didn't trust him. Kisame wanted more intel. Kisame wanted more details. Kisame wanted to know who that man was. Kisame saw that eye and he saw that it was Uchiha. He wanted to know who he was, and he came out and then bit his tongue out. Right about time when we should have known who that man was, he bit his tongue off. He bit his tongue off. And start break little vision, unleash the wrath of his wordless words. And then he suddenly draw for this. What was that jutsu called again? I think it was water prison thing, like same kind of thing Zabuza back then when he was facing Kakashi and Team 7. He used that, and once he used that, it's like he summoned up this, what do you call it now, sharks. They devour him. Devour him at the time when they're doing their thing. Going at the flashback when he joined Akatsuki and he was talking to Itachi, how fish survive and that they're cannibalize themselves because the same amount of number that is in the mother ain't the same amount of number that will come out, and they frenzy on each other. You know what I'm saying? And in order to tell him that they frenzy on each other, it's like saying to Itachi, you and I may be partners, but be wary of me. I kill a lot of people, kill on coming and crap like that. Itachi said that we ain't people. Well, we ain't fish or sharks. We're people. We're human. Never compare us to that. And like he's saying, we ain't gonna know the type of person we were at the time when we were living until the moment when our death comes. That's when he's like saying we view the life in which we live until the day we die. And like Kisame was taking that as as how he went through his times, how he lived, and he was like coming to the sense of what Itachi meant. And could say Itachi was like someone Kisame looked up to, not the big person he was, So he was like smiling, having his last moment, and then everything that we were like saying, yo, he's a true ninja and crap. They see squirrel, take it up, looking at shark, came out, and there were 7 or so, water like force field or water like vortex around them with sharks in it. And I have this moment like when one of the shark myself pushes head up. Someone shouldn't have pushed it up in Naruto. Naruto say, hey man, not there. And the shark took the squirrel that, was on the ground and went to the ocean. And the fact that that man sacrificed so much in order to complete that mission, because he didn't went to the fight. He actually said they went there to spy, and whatever the outcome was, he held his ground. And I wouldn't say it was a true shinobi, but it was a type of shinobi that a dark shinobi, that live a path that I didn't think he chooses of his own, but he chooses of society, basically of the node in which he lived. Kisame himself was a loyal man to those Akatsuki. I'm not saying he was a loyal man because he sacrificed himself to protect details. I'm saying he was a loyal man for holding his ground and for being that person he is. I like the flashback. There wasn't enough to flashback that made it boring, but I like how they presented it and how it started off. I didn't really, you know, like it went down like Kisame, but some people got go down sometime. But Kisame is never forgot the Katsuki member. Never forgot Shinobi. He's like he's like I don't know what kind of word I could put describe it, man. It's like a short guy but a human, texture. And short don't have any hearts. They just kill by nature. They kill brothers and sister by nature. But I think he have the human's texture in which he's just as human as anyone, and he can change just as anyone. You know, change of his own will, and he went down as who he was. Even Yamato said how much of a person he was. You know, even Naruto said even Akatsuki would go at such length, to protect their own comrades. That's what's true.